If you clicked on this video, I know what you're probably thinking. The Cat in the Hat is just a weird children's film. What the hell is this dude yapping about? And you're not wrong, average YouTube viewer. This movie is an acid trip of an experience, but what if I told you you've been watching this film incorrectly for over 2 decades now? That's right, you've been watching this movie the wrong way. You probably view this film through the lens of it being an adaptation of a children's book, so therefore it must be a film for children as well. Wrong. The Cat in the Hat is a horror comedy made for adults.
I'll get you, and I'll look like a bloody accident.
You see, there's almost nothing children-friendly about this movie. Mike Myers as the titular character is fucking terrifying.
A monster? Where? That could have gone better.
But this is the true brilliance of what was done with this adaptation. They took what was always a bit of a bizarre children's book and completely unlocked its full potential by allowing it to be the horror narrative that it truly should be. And could you tell me with a straight face that if a giant bipedal cat with the ability to talk entered your house, you wouldn't be terrified of it? Let's really break down everything this cat does. He shows he has the ability to teleport as he magically ends up next to these 2 children as they run and hide from him. He is clearly psychotic as he laughs at his own jokes, talks to himself, and tells the children to scream and run away from him.
Scream and run. And away they go.
At one point, a picture of these kids' mom gives his hat an erection.
That's my mom.
Awkward.
This cat also threatens to give these kids shots in their kneecaps and abdomens, and he has a gang of lawyers that he can magically summon whenever he wants. Suffice to say, this monstrous lab experiment is an absolute menace to society. But the reason that this isn't just a straight up horror film and is rather a horror comedy is because these children are awful individuals, so their suffering is kind of enjoyable and funny. While I wouldn't wish this bipolar schizophrenic cat on my worst enemy, these children might just deserve him. I mean, Conrad is a little shit who frankly would have benefited from going to a military school. He refuses to do what his mom says, and Sally really isn't much better. She's a manipulative control freak. If there's a sympathetic character in this film that we should root for, it's their mom. Their mom is single, provides for her children all on her own, and she has to put up with this film's secondary antagonist, Hank Humberflube.
Boom, I wanted to thank you.
Fired.
I beg your pardon?
Fired.
But I...
And despite having the greatest name in cinematic history, Hank Humberflube should be arrested for the color choices incorporated into the design of his building. That much lime green and just green in general is an assault to my eyes. And I'm convinced that this Hank gentleman is a closeted serial killer. He fired a man for shaking his hand, he has hand sanitizer on his waist belt, and holds staff meetings at 9:02 a.m.? He has all the signs of being a mass murderer, and you will never convince me otherwise. And in many ways, Mr. Humberflube is used to beautifully create a parallel between Joan and her children's journey throughout the film. While Joan has to deal with a clearly closeted serial killer boss who runs his company with an iron fist full of Germax, her children are forced to survive a clearly unstable mad science experiment in The Cat in the Hat. And through all the horrific and sometimes funny moments, their dual experience brings them closer together. And having survived a slasher film reject forces her little shits, I mean children, to change as human beings fundamentally. Now, at this point, you may or may not be in agreement with my stance that The Cat in the Hat is unequivocally a horror comedy, but if you are still in denial of this indisputable fact, I have one final trump card to play. My friend, simply think of this film from Miss Kwan's perspective. And when you do this, you will no longer be able to deny the horrific events that unfold. Miss Kwan gets called on really short notice to come babysit perhaps the 2 most annoying kids in cinematic history, and as we see through her choice in television programming, she clearly escaped a terrifying government regime. She then falls asleep, which shows us that she's clearly overworked and is just struggling to make enough money to survive in this new country. And what does she get for all of her hard work? She gets sat on by a giant bipedal cat, then thrown in a closet against her will, and then turned into an amusement park ride? I mean, what the hell, guys? What did she do to deserve this? This movie is undeniably a horror film, especially from Miss Kwan's perspective. You cannot defend these actions, no matter how charismatic this demented cat is. Also, the city of Anvil is a terrifying setting for this film. I mean, what in the communist regime is this town's design? Why the hell does every house look the same? And again, why the hell is there so much lime green? You simply can't tell me that this is a setting that you'd enjoy living in. And I think using such a bizarre suburban area as a backdrop for this movie perfectly sets the tone for this horror comedy. It lets us know right away from the very first frame of the film that something is just off about this place. I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention Larry Quinn in this video, and he is a very fun side character. And honestly, I think he is used as a vessel for all of us viewers. He is respectfully trying to put the moves on Joan, which is a very admirable mission in my opinion. And he treats these annoying little brats how they deserve to be dealt with.
I see. Okay, that's great. Look, pal, be a sport, and why don't you go and tidy up the living room, okay? Dude?
He tries to ship Conrad off to military school, which again, Conrad deserves. Simply put, Larry Q is just a bro. He's got simple desires and is just trying to make his way in life. And upon a rewatch, I was shocked at how many humorous moments he brought to the film. From his point of view, the film is really a tragedy. He doesn't get the girl and doesn't get his happy ending. I don't know, that sounds pretty horrific to me. Well, if you made it this far, please let me know. Have I convinced you that The Cat in the Hat is a horror comedy? Or do you think I'm chatting absolute bollocks? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe for more Screen Stories content. Until next time, peace.